students, welcome to our webinar. And the theme of our webinar is what can we do to improve our English. When we learn our native language, further listen, then we speak, then we read, and finally we write. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are the four language skills we need to develop for complete communication. Listening and reading and receptive input, they expose you have to authentic language in use. Speaking and writing are productive output. The action of producing language is part of the process of second language learning. Expose yourself to the language as much as possible. Practice makes perfect, which means that if you want to improve a certain skill, you have to practice it. As a beginner learner, you will need to achieve it. Four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Many of us are in search of the ways to improve our English and in general the language we speak, because we realize the language says a lot about the person himself, and this way we definitely witness about one's education and character. To achieve these four basic language skills, you need to surround yourself with English. Make English part of your life and home, at work, during your free time. Read on to find tips that will help you overcome the difficulties you might be experiencing to improve your English skills. And if you speak a good language, no matter which one, it would certainly become a good indicator on diligence, respect towards oneself and other people, intelligence, and efforts. A good language plays a most important part when applying for a job, going to the cinema, leading various types of negotiations, and so on. We could only repeat once more that language is an indicator of your orientation in this life. You might know that there are many doors for an eager person. Studying English is just another story if it's not your native language. You might also know that the older we become, the more difficult it is for us to learn and store the new words and phrases in our memory. Similarly, we can not apply the same rule for a foreign language as it happened with its modern mother tongue. Mother tongue is cognized, absorbed from the circumstances and the situation itself. A mother hints the first letter of a word to a baby, and thus the first word is being born. And we often hear that of parents of a child are bilingual, the child will become bilingual too. And that's because one can speak for both languages equally. And what to do for those people? We have started to study the language in their teens or even later. Wouldn't they have a chance to succeed? Of course they would. Language is being studied depending upon the goal you have. If you need English not for serious goals, you will use one method and disregard other ones. If you want to devote your life to language, you will take some bigger efforts, and you will be looking forward for any possible ways to find the information you need. So, what goal do you have? And however, the approaches to it may be really similar. Studying English consists of basic methods, exercises, and activities, which are listening. The second is watching TV video, speaking with a native speaker, catching up for some grammar with the help of the system, various exercises, and also going abroad to be in the informal atmosphere, reading, writing, games, crosswords, and also board games, etc. And a lot of students would definitely say that grammar was sometimes, in most of cases, a bit boring. That's another dubious statement, which would mean that teacher making English lessons is either not professional enough or just prefer to roll up of doing exercises and simply forgets that English is being studied in games too. The teacher should have the sense of timing, have good interactions with students, and harmonize all of grammatical speaking and gain specs on his grammar lesson. And as for the students, as it was mentioned before, everything depends on whether students make effort to comprehend and learn something new or not. Those students who want to study will always have open ways to a teacher, as one will become the source of help, guidance and information. And there are several tips for the students to improve their basic English skills. The first, listening helps you to develop your comprehension of English and to snatch certain words from the context. The auditory cortex is responsible for listening. You wouldn't be able to respond to somebody's request if you couldn't understand what one's trying to say. Such sources as BBC and CNN are considered to be one of the best ones to listen to, as their speech to consider it to be perfect in British terms. And when listening, you can also try to listen to one sentence and then write it down after the newscaster, and afterwards you could try to translate it. Some people, for example, advanced students, can make the task complicated, try to listen and to translate while listening. There is where your English would work. Another activity is just listening and simply trying to render the main idea of the speech in your own words. That would help you to understand better in your and to formulate your thoughts. It plays a very important part in learning a language. Effective listening ensures understanding, and it helps to improve accuracy when speaking, among other things. How can you improve your listening skills? By listening activity, paying attention not only on what is said, but also how it is said. So listen. The fourth is to music, old or modern, the type you prefer, but pay attention to the lyrics. Sometimes reading the lyrics may help you understand the song. The second is to movies, TV shows and news entertainments, the radio, try to the classics. If you can watch DVDs, you can watch the movie several times, watching with subtitles, and then you will feel more comfortable without them, and you can have English radio in your home or in your mobile phone. Even if you are not actually listening to it, your cars will be getting used to the sounds on the language. And the third is attend plays and exhibitions, tasks, etc. in English, organized by the English speaking schools or communities. Writing is an indispensable part of English studying. The language itself is being born from writing. All the most creative and beautiful creatures and items of the English language result from writing. When a person writes a lot of, one has a perfect speaking as one starts thinking English. Your thoughts will be expressed with certain English phrases, and you won't have to think about a certain word. You will think English, especially when you will write something on a certain topic. It is a process of a brain and it takes time to develop. Your mind has to attach meaning the words, phrases and expressions represented by a symbol, plus get to understand the grammar and structure of the language used in the passage to read. If you develop strong reading skills, it will be very helpful to your future. You can read also speaking. It is often the hardest of the to find the language skills, but as soon as you can speak a little English, there are a lot of ways to improve quickly and have tons of fun. And join voice chats. Technology has advanced a lot of terms of social networks, so wherever you live, you will find the join there. Talk and record yourself. This may sound funny, but it will help you realize how you can improve the repeating the recording several times till you feel happy with the results. Talk to your classmates in English when you are not in class. You can even make a group to play games, have a meet-up, just chat together. And books in English and articles on the web. Maybe books you have already read in your mother tongue or which have been turned into movies. Try to start with easy books, even children's books and comics. The images will help you understand even you don't know all the words. Switch the operating system of your mobile phone, your PC or a tablet into English. Associating a function with a certain word will improve your vocabulary. And watching videos helps you to acquire and process everything you've seen on the screen. These may be various habits and cultural peculiarities of native speakers. If you are a beginner, we recommend you to listen to the videos with subtitles that could help us to listen and watch it at once. You could also write down the idea of the film you've seen. Even though it may be intimidating a lot of people, anyone can get used to writing with a little discipline and willingness to learn. And write down words or expressions you think useful with their meanings and examples. If you say them to a sentence, you will remember them better. You can use them if you keep a diary. Write comments in English blogs. At present, blogs are websites that resemble journals, and lots of people use them in expose their ideas on a certain topic or to explain things from how to know how to knit a scarf to very complicated ones where technical and philosophical topics are dealt with. One common features of all these blogs that they are interactive and readers can make comments or debate the ideas stated in the blog. And even if you are not in a blog fan, you may find some that really encourage you to take part, so just do it. You don't need to be an expert to write a few sentences about what you think or feel about the content of the blog. All the above mentioned tips can be reduced to just one: practice, practice and practice. Whatever learning style you have, whatever your native language is, the key to acquire and master foreign language is practice. It's as much as often as possible. And in conclusion, no introduction is needed for this activity. Everybody wants to speak. However, students don't often realize that linking phrases together without certain knowledge can't be done at once. It required lots of practicing with foreigners, native speakers, and also doing a sufficient homework, writing and doing grammar exercises. So our webinar is over. Thank you for your watching.